And we have begun with the very first live stream of the Rich Salad Show. David, this is exciting. Episode 17 coming in hot.
Episode 17, our first live show. Super excited. Can't wait to get into it.
Absolutely, brother. All right, guys, if you have not, be sure to like the video. We'd really appreciate it. Subscribe if you can. But without further ado, let's get into our first topic, which is Spider Noir. Now, if you would have told me that Nicolas Cage would come in and reprise his role because he first came back to us in 2018 with Into the Spider-Verse, which David, you've seen Into the Spider-Verse, right?
Yes, I did not realize Nicolas Cage was in that movie.
Yeah, so he voiced the same character, Spider Noir, Spider-Man Noir. And
Oh.
yeah, so to see that he is reprising his role in live action with a series coming from Amazon, which Amazon Prime, they deliver, I mean, they're delivering quality stuff. We're just coming off the heels of Fallout. We coming off the heels of The Boys. The Boys season 5 is coming out next month. Holy cow, I cannot wait for that. That's going to be so much fun. But man, this show is going to be a blast. Like with shows like this, you have to kind of know what you're getting into it with, like, just kind of know, like, it's not supposed to be that serious. You're trying not to take it too seriously, but I think you're going to have a great time because Nicolas Cage always delivers just a wild, fun performance, a vibrant performance. David, any Nicolas Cage performances you're familiar with that you really like? Any films or like all that stuff?
Obviously when he was trying to steal the Declaration of Independence, that was probably the big one
Yeah.
that I can remember. But he always drives very aggressively. In any film
He
that he's
really
doing,
does all the time.
he really drives aggressively. So seeing that shot of the old, looks like Ford Model T style vehicle from like the 1930s, we're gonna get some intense Nicolas Cage driving scenes.
Right?
That's the real question that we're asking here of all the questions. But no, I saw this trailer and I was floored away by how good it looked in black and white. This screenshot, he was getting wasted. But
Yeah.
I was floored away by how good it looked in black and white and how much that I want to see it in black and white versus color.
Yeah.
Because I think I have heard people talk about turning your phone to black and white is supposed to like limit your use of your phone, and I have done that, and it has. Like, I haven't enjoyed looking at my phone when it's in black and white. But
Wow.
like when I first saw this in black and white, I was like, wow, this looks really cool. And then when I saw the color version, I'm like, man, this is not nearly as cool.
It is interesting. It does change the vibe, which,
It
like,
totally does.
when I think of the gimmick, because like sometimes I feel like black and white could be a gimmick because we've talked about Godzilla minus one before, and I remember when they released or they re-released it in theaters with the black and white version, and it's like it was supposed to be so much more special. Yeah, so they did that after they released.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I feel like it was kind of a gimmick, just because it's just kind of like a filter, I guess. But I mean, maybe not. I could be totally wrong since I still haven't seen the black and white version of minus
Mhm.
one. But it still seems like with this show, they're they're focusing in on that idea of black and white. Therefore, the certain shot selection, certain Dutch angles in the camera, shots like this, it's just very purposeful capturing the idea of black and white and the the noir of it. It's
Yes.
super fitting.
Yeah. This looks really interesting. And like you said, probably not something that people should take too seriously. But if you would have told me that Nicolas Cage was gonna be Spider-Man in a live action TV show, that would have been
I wouldn't believe it.
unbelievable. Unbelievable. But it's happening. And not only is it happening, it looks like a lot of fun. It
Yeah,
looks like a lot of fun.
it really
I'm
does.
excited for this.
Yeah, it's cool because did you know he was gonna play Superman before?
Wait.
He was going to at one point. It wasn't like a lock, But
And James Gunn, Superman?
no, 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 no.
Okay.
This was well before that. Yeah, there
Oh,
was a. I want to say the film was it Death of Superman or something like that. I could be totally wrong, but yeah, he was kind of not supposed to play Superman, but he was in line in a way to play a version of Superman, which we actually
interesting.
did. We did get to see him in the Flash film that came out in 2023. He made an appearance, but it was like a CG version of him, so it wasn't really him. But he does appear as a version of a different Superman in that film, which is
Interesting.
it was wild. It was super cool. But even certain shots like this, you get that Dutch angle, noir style, and it just looks like an absolute blast. The costume looks great. I think the costume fits. Oh God, come on, that's
That's
so
so
cool.
cool.
It's so
It's
cool.
cool. And this is like a live action shot.
Right, live
Like it,
action.
like we were talking about before the show, how it feels, it's got a comic style feel to it, which definitely like something like the MCU, they don't feel like comic books. You know, when I watch the movie,
Hmm,
it feels like that's what Into the Spider-Verse was heavily designed to feel like, is like
absolutely,
a
super
comic.
comic.
But this is kind of a new take on that, but with live action. So
Yeah,
really interesting.
yeah. It looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun. Lots of cool shots in this. Lots of cool shots in this, and I was super surprised that they were gonna throw in a shot of him web slinging around freaking New York City during this time period. It's crazy.
I
Now I wouldn't say it's like perfect, and it's I get like with web swinging, there's a very specific physics you kind of have to go about to make it look quote unquote real. But
mhm.
with a show like this, that's probably not going to take itself seriously at all. I think it's totally fine. Like, yeah. What do you say about the web slinging? Did it look anything out of place to you?
I didn't mind it. I know some people are probably gonna dog on it, but
Yeah,
I thought it looked good. I thought it looked really cool. Like it looks really cool.
it does. You see his full costume there too, because it's towards the beginning of the trailer, you got to see his kind of the startings of his costume where it was just the mask, very reminiscent of lots of Spider-Man movies and shows and all that, lots of superhero, the origin story, but the font looks great. Coming May 27th, Spider-Man Noir. Trying to think if there's anything else. No, I mean, this is going to be a blast. Again, like I had no idea this because like for the longest time we knew this was coming, and there was like a teaser trailer that came out that kind of got leaked. I think it was maybe about 6 months ago or more, and it was weird because like it was quote unquote real trailer, but then Amazon didn't release it themselves. So I was so curious, like, what is this? Is it real? And then
Mhm.
finally we get this confirmation. It's like, oh, I guess it was real because they did take footage from or footage that was similar to that original trailer and implemented it into this as well. But man, again, I cannot believe this is coming. Super fun. Ben Riley. We get Nicolas Cage coming as Spider Noir. Let us know your thoughts, guys. What do you think about that? Should be a pretty fun time. So, with that, we're going to move on to our next topic, which we're getting into another video game adaptation because it seems like every week we're talking about another
A
video
video game,
game
yeah.
adaptation. Yeah. So, Dead by Daylight. So, if you're not familiar with Dead by Daylight, it's David, have you played Dead by Daylight before by chance?
I haven't. I have seen a few people play it. To my understanding, it is it's a co-op game where you play
Yeah.
with people on one team trying to survive the overpowered villain of Jason. Is that correct?
Yeah, so you're essentially like what's cool is they've brought in a bunch of different villains across pop culture. Like I'm pretty sure Ghostface was in there. Vecna was actually in there recently.
Oh,
So
okay.
they've
So they kind of interchange. That's
yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, they give you a bunch of different horror villains to choose from. And yeah, it's essentially just like you and three other players are you're kind of in like a boxed zone and you're trying to gather resources to refill like a generator and you have to refill all three generators to be able to get out and escape. But while you're trying to refill the generators, you're trying to evade and escape the killer that's trying to hunt you down. Very like it's a very cut and dry simple concept. And To think that we're getting this is a movie, yeah, a movie with this. I think you can have lots of options to go about with that film because you have such an open kind of canvas. Because it's not like a set narrative. Like this isn't like a Last of Us. This isn't a Fallout. This isn't like a set narrative within a certain franchise. This is kind of its own thing, and it's um, not too many things that they have to follow. But Dead by Daylight movie adaptation lands The Conjuring Crawl combo as writers. So an Atomic Monster attached to this. So Blumhouse, Jason Blum, he's been in the horror game for a long time, and he's usually pretty smart in choosing his films to go with. Atomic Monster, that's James Wan, which James Wan has done many horror films like the Conjurings. He did the Insidiouses. He did Aquaman. He did the first Aquaman, which I love. That first Aquaman, it was great. Aquaman 2,
Mhm.
it was booty. So Scary Movie Maker, Blumhouse, Atomic Monster, and Canadian gaming studio Behavior Interactive have tapped David Leslie Johnson, McGoldrick, and Alexandre Aja to pen the feature adaptation of Dead by Daylight, Behavior's hit horror multiplayer game. So I did a little research on Alexandre Aja, and he hasn't done that many great things in terms of like he's granted he's created films like that's probably more things that I'll ever do, but
Great in and of itself.
great in and of itself exactly. And kind of same thing with David Leslie Johnson. He's they've been attached to certain things, but nothing that has been really like booming.
Okay.
So that kind of I mean it kind of has me worried, but not, I don't know if I'd say worried. Just we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, with
Every
yeah,
Yeah, just every opportunity that people have to, if they're directing, they're hopefully you'd think they're improving upon
yeah,
previous mistakes and previous films that they've made. I can only imagine the amount that you would learn from directing a movie and working on certain projects, and you're taking all that experience to an existing IP like with Dead by Daylight that uses other IP, but like the game itself. And it's also interesting in the similar way as terms of Minecraft. Minecraft, there is a like story mode in Minecraft
hmm
that somewhat follows a narrative, but it's nothing like The Last of Us or Fallout. Um,
yeah,
but Dead by Daylight is like pure cooperative game where the replayability and what makes the game interesting is the community surrounding it, which is a little similar to Minecraft, but Minecraft is somewhat more solo based, but there are a lot of community aspects with it. So it's really interesting to see that like a purely co-op based game with that makes the game fun is the community surrounding it, is getting a movie.
hmm
And with all the video game adaptations that we're seeing, I mean, just, again, like we are saying, like every week it seems like we're getting another video game adaptation.
yeah,
And we still got big directors, with stuff down the pipeline. Zach Kreger's working on Resident Evil.
dude. Because
you
so
know
I've actually just dove into Resident Evil. I started playing Resident Evil 4, and it's great. It's the story is pretty solid so far, but the experience of it has been fantastic. And to
yeah, I've
think
seen people play it. It's really cool.
it is really cool.
I would never play it myself. I
Well,
struggle with horror games, but
honestly, so Resident Evil 4 is I think it's a great balance of action and horror. Like me, I would honestly consider myself pretty much of a scaredy cat, but playing Resident Evil 4, like you'll be fine. And the gameplay of it is really easy to follow too. So it's not difficult. Like you craft some stuff, you have to
Mhm.
manage your inventory, but it's not monotonous or tedious or annoying. It's done in a very well way. But yeah, like you said, Zach Kreger coming out with that stuff.
Yeah, so, this
Yeah,
is,
Nick Cage
uh
actually was in this game.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So it sounds like Dead by Daylight has used a ton of other IP for their game to make their game more interesting. So I'm really curious to see, like you said, it's a really open canvas to what the creators of this film would do. Now thinking about like what makes the game fun? What makes the game fun is playing with friends, and probably the mechanics of the game are interesting, horror aspects. So if I'm thinking about how people feel while playing the game, I would probably try to elicit the same feeling when someone is watching the movie.
Mm.
Maybe certain feelings, not like all feelings. Obviously, like maybe not like a funny moment, or
Yeah, every
maybe
now and then.
even a funny moment. So if I was like doing research on how I would try to craft a story for this, I'd probably try to talk to the gamers and watch a lot of people play and how are they reacting? How are they enjoying the game? And
Right.
can I take any of those elements and plug them into the movie? Because this is again purely cooperative and there's some mechanics and elements of it, but what makes it is playing with other people. So because of this, like if this does really well, I think it's only going to be a matter of time for we see like even bigger video game cooperative game IP like be made in a movie. I think it's only a matter of time before we get an Among Us movie. I think it's
Yeah.
only
I'm really surprised we haven't gotten a Among Us movie yet.
yeah, I
That's
think it's
really surprising.
only a matter of time before we get an Among Us movie or maybe even probably Fortnite movie, Apex Legends. I mean, I think those kind of um I mean cooperative games or MOBAs. We technically got a MOBA, a multiplayer online battle arena game
Mhm.
with as a production for a TV show. It was Arcane, League of Legends.
Oh,
But like
Arcane, man. So good.
that's so good. Like the video game adaptations that have come out in the last 5 years have been absolutely bangers. And I don't think before 5 years ago we could really say that honestly. I
Absolutely
really don't.
not.
Yeah.
There was a period of time where every time, I mean, it was a truism in life where a video game adaptation would be announced and you would just get get the burial plot ready because it was going straight in there.
It's so true. It's so
Yeah.
true. And it's so sad. And I think I wonder Arcane might have been the catalyst that like put it over the edge, at least
Yeah.
because
Yeah, it
the first
seems
season came out in 21, right?
I wanna say it's close to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is really interesting. Like you said, I'm really excited to see the creative direction for this because there's a lot of different things you could do.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you brought up some excellent points with that. There's so many different avenues because the canvas is open. There's not a set narrative with this story, at least as far as I'm aware of. It's just you're just kind of with four friends and you're just trying to escape a certain period or a certain area. And with killers trying to get you, it honestly, in a sense, kind of sounds like just another slasher film.
Mhm,
Which kind of like when I was thinking about another film, because even though we have gotten lots of fantastic video game adaptations like A Last of Us, like Fallout, like the Sonic movies, there have been some misses in there. I think with the film Until Dawn, which came out, I want to say
yes,
earlier
I
last
was literally as like it was in my brain. I was
year.
thinking it before you said it.
Yeah. Until Dawn, it's like before it came out, the trailers came out, and I was like, well, I know it's not like the game, which that's fine. I think that is a cool thing to do to take some liberties and not do a full adaptation because I think what makes a great adaptation is taking the original material and just picking your spots where to change it, not changing the whole thing. And it could be depending on the material. Like I think the way they do Last of Us is just beautiful. They kind of pick their spots, which they want to extend, which they want to shorten, because you transition a video game to a film, completely different medium. The way you experience it is totally different,
Mhm.
even though they're both rooted in narrative. But with something like Until Dawn, as far as I know, I didn't see it, but I know the reviews weren't. It wasn't received well, and it just kind of died on arrival. and
Mhm.
after it came out, no one talked about it.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, I think from what I remember, it was reviewed decently. But again, like, but I mean, but that's like one in every five, the recent or game adaptations we've got that's, bad. So for the most part, they're batting, a lot. They're doing some good work, and hopefully with Dead by Daylight, we can get something like that. So yeah, David, you got any final thoughts? Dead by Daylight coming?
Yeah. I it's interesting because when I think about Until Dawn, I really loved Until Dawn playing the game. And what made it so interesting was the core mechanic of the game, which was called the butterfly effect, where there
Yeah.
were so many different endings, so many different pathways that the characters could go on, which is the core opposite of a movie. It is one story from start to finish. And yes, there are like different storylines in between, but like you have to pick one and you have to pick where it's going to go.
Yeah.
So I think doing Until Dawn in that way, simply because the core mechanic was so focused on the multiple endings, like made probably people like react kind of poorly when they realized, oh, it's the movie is just like they're just picking one direction for this to go.
Right.
Like they're not they weren't thinking outside the box enough of the core mechanic of the game itself.
Hmm.
Could they have had multiple endings in the movie? I don't know.
Would have been
You know,
interesting to do.
right? Interesting to do. So with this Dead by Daylight adaptation, can they take core things that players love about the game and inject those feelings into the movie, like without what you said, making it just another slasher film, which is kind of what Until Dawn probably felt like,
Right.
you know, because of it has the video game IP. Are they just like, oh, we're just going to make a slasher film, and because it has the video game and 60 million players, we're going to like make a ton of money? Are they
Yeah.
thinking that, or are they going to be maybe more intentional and creative and try to differentiate themselves in that way, other than just having the title?
Right.
So
Yeah, absolutely. Lots
interesting
of
to see.
Very interesting to see. Yeah, we brought up lots of cool stuff. So let us know, guys, what you think of not Until Dawn, of Dead by Daylight coming out probably sometime in the next few years. And curious to see how that shakes out. All right. With that down, we're moving on to our next topic. And we're getting into Spidey. Now, this story from Screen Rant, it's not like a big story. It's just I just kind of wanted to touch on trailers, but our gateway into trailers is the fact that it's still crazy to me that this trailer has not dropped yet. This movie comes out in less than 6 months, and we have not
Hmm.
seen a trailer yet. So it is very curious why we have not. Could be multitude of reasons. Could be for a reason. Could be they just want to wait and build some hype in their own way, or the trailer's maybe just not ready yet. Who knows? But the director marked on, or he teased kind of what's kind of coming in a way, but the director Destin Daniel Cretton. David, are you familiar with Destin by chance?
No.
Okay, so he made Shang-Chi, which came out 2021. That was one of the Marvel films, and holy cow, Shang-Chi, dude, incredible. He knows exactly how to build a cast, have a villain that's not the mustache twirly villain. He's a villain that you can that you can understand and but still root against. And he just knows how to balance a film really well, and especially also fight choreography. And we've talked about it on the show before. Like with fight choreography, you need to have it breathe in sequences. You need to see what's going on, because I know lots of people fall into a trap. Lots of editors fall into a trap, filmmakers, what have you, where they quick cut, they quick edit it, and it's just too choppy. You can't do that.
Yeah.
That just instantly breaks the illusion, and it's just not fun for anyone.
Foreshadowing for future later in this episode, fight video.
Yeah, there is a fight video in there. Whether it's real or not, it's definitely a fight video. So Destin Daniel Cretton, yeah. So like I said, so Destin coming in to make Spider-Man because originally Spider-Man with Tom Holland, the director John Watts, he directed the first three, which was Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home, which I mean that's like one of the most like solid stone like trilogies of superhero films in my opinion. They're all just real solid. In my opinion, I still think Homecoming is my favorite. It was just a really special tender film. Um, with a great villain. And then No Way Home was a big celebration. It was a big, huge event. I remember seeing that at the theater. It was so much fun. And but again, yeah, we got Destin Daniel Cretton coming in to do this. And you know, when he was asked about the trailer, he is basically just said, "I think it's so funny how people really want a trailer. Of course, it's gonna come. It's gonna be really good when it comes. It's coming." So that's all he says. So that's all we're gonna get. And the Screen Rant article did tease on the fact that we did get some uh, leaks about the trailer. Now it's funny. Originally, before doing this channel, I was so adamant about not seeing trailers, not seeing anything in regards to promotional material for films, just because I wanted to go into every film, especially Marvel films, knowing nothing. But now that we're doing the podcast, it is helpful to know what's going on, and it doesn't ruin my enjoyment of the films. I've realized because once you kind of know, like if you heard what's going on in a film, it's completely different than seeing it. Seeing is
Mm.
like is the all thing, and the experience of what you see at the theater is what's worth it. So yeah, there was some leaks that came out around when the first those Doomsday trailers were coming out, and the story sounds interesting. It sounds really fun. And we might get some X-Men in there, which I am super excited about. I just started watching the X-Men films this year. So to see more of that, and the fact that our girl Sadie Sink from Stranger Things could be one of those X-Men. Like, I'm super excited about that. She could, I mean, she's a fantastic actor, and I know she's gonna bring it in whatever she does. But yeah, David, what say you about Spider-Man coming out? When do you think this trailer might drop?
Hmm. I'm not sure. Definitely picking times for trailers to drop is a massive deal. Um, and the big movies that are coming out this year in 2026, being Avengers Doomsday, and the one that comes to mind is Disclosure Day. Um, those we at least have a teaser for Doomsday, and we have full length trailer for Disclosure Day, which is coming
Yeah.
out
And then, and,
4
and then there
months
was
from
that
now.
Super Bowl spot too, right?
Yes, they had a 30-second Super Bowl spot, which showed new stuff that we hadn't seen before
Mm.
in the previous trailers. So, um, this is definitely one of the biggest movies of the year, and they're picking their spots. They're
They are.
they're they're picking their spots, and I was listening to the Christian Hoffer show, or
Oh,
I don't know if
Christian
that's what
Harloff.
it's called. Christian Karloff, is that his name?
Christian Harloff. Yeah.
Christian Harloff. Okay, and he was talking about the price tag for the Super Bowl this year was it's always even more than I can even fathom.
It is
I guess he said it
insane.
was $10 million for a 30-second spot for a movie trailer. So he was saying, if I'm gonna drop a movie trailer, I would not want to do it on the Super Bowl. That is a ridiculous amount of money to drop for 30 seconds. And like that's it. It's 30 seconds. You're banking that they're gonna go watch the trailer, the full trailer online when you can just drop it online itself and save $10 million. I mean,
Right.
like,
That's
and
the
just promote it
economical right decision. Yeah.
promote it through social channels. The YouTube algorithm is very powerful. So like if there's a trailer and people are watching it, it's gonna show it to more people. You're gonna get a lot of people to see it anyway. Where if you put it in the Super Bowl, you might not get that many people interested because especially with the Super Bowl, a lot of people like Super Bowl ads for creative advertisement, a trailer is not necessarily a creative advertisement. It's just a trailer.
Yeah.
Like, so they might be turned off to it or not as interested. So when he was saying that, I was like, okay, it makes total sense why someone would not spend the money even for as big of a movie. We didn't get an Avengers Doomsday trailer for Super Bowl. So for big as big of movies as Avengers Doomsday and as the Spider-Man movie, it makes sense why we haven't seen it. But they're picking their spots. I think hype is building. I mean, we're seeing articles about how we haven't gotten one. So they're picking their spots. Hype is building. I think when it drops, like he said, it's gonna be good.
It's gonna be good. Absolutely. Now, I was curious, what is your favorite Spider-Man? Because I saw this image, and I don't think I ever got your opinion. Who's your all Spider-Man?
Man, so here's the thing.
Oh,
I I have seen one of the Tom Holland Spider-Mans. I saw the first one.
okay.
I did not see the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans. I've seen the Into the Spider-Verse Spider-Mans,
Okay.
the two of
Yeah.
those. But the one where I saw all of them was um
Andrew?
Andrew Garfield.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, I guess you could say that that would be my favorite. I guess you could say that.
Okay.
But I haven't seen I can't really make a judgment
Yeah.
because I haven't seen the others.
Okay. You're
Um,
not a you're not a cultured Spider-Man fan, I guess.
I'm not a cultured Spider-Man fan.
No worries.
Um, need need to see the Spider-Man movies. I
Yeah.
really do.
Yeah, they're
And
all great.
what my question back to you, what would be your favorite Spider-Man?
Mm. Yeah, I should have known you would ask that. That's rough. Well, they're all great in their own way. I would say for me, like what tugs at the heart is Toby, no matter what. That was like the first that was like one of the first films I feel like I've ever seen. That's like one of my earliest memories of
Mm,
film is Tobey Maguire's Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 1. That was so special. I love the soundtrack. Danny Elfman crushed it with that. That score is beautiful. His suit was really cool. The raised webbing and yeah, I think because like when people kind of compare Spider-Man, they compare Peter Parker and also the character of Spider-Man. And thinking about Toby, I think he was a great Peter Parker. Maybe as Spider-Man, maybe not as expressive as he could have been. But again, like with all these different Spider-Man, just because they're different doesn't make one worse than the others or one better than the other. It's just different. I mean, you think of comic books. All the different iterations of Spider-Man in the comics. That's why there's different iterations. They're all different. So I think the movies, the way they are situated, are much akin to the comics, where they're just different. Doesn't make them better or worse. But back to the topic with favorite Spider-Man, yeah. So Toby, I still would say he's probably still my favorite, just because of tugging on the nostalgia for me. And then I mean, honestly, Andrew is great. I mean, in terms of an actor, he's the most talented actor out of all of them. And his chemistry with Emma Stone, being Gwen in the Amazing Spider-Man films, holy cow, their chemistry is electric. They're one of like the best on-screen duo superhero, romances in comic book history, in my opinion. The chemistry is insane. And of course, what happens in TASM 2, in the Amazing Spider-Man 2, it's heartbreaking. And because their chemistry was so crazy good. So I think I definitely love all of them in their own ways. And then coming to Tom with the most recent iterations and just the more kid aspect of it's him really feeling like a kid Peter Parker, while the previous two felt more of like adulter Peter Parkers. So again, I think all of them are great in their own way. If I had to choose, of course, I would just go with Toby. But next in line would definitely be Andrew, just because of I mean, his acting prowess is amazing, and the films were great. TASM 2 was maybe not so much. It was a little chaotic, to say the kindest, but the Amazing Spider-Man 1, holy cow, was great. But yeah, I think I honestly we're due to get this trailer. I feel like any day, any day. Brand new day, any day. It's
Brand new day any day.
yeah, there's Destin Dan Cretton. He's great, such a kind dude. He also co-created the show Wonder Man, which came out in late January, which that got great reviews. Which
Yeah, that's getting good reviews.
we were talking about that on the show, and how whenever they dump shows, or whenever they just do the stream drop of 8 episodes or whatever on one date, it's usually like they don't have faith in the show. Yet here we go, everyone loves this show.
Mhm.
So that's awesome
Yep.
because we need Marvel back, and the ramp's going. The ramp's going up. We just got Wonder Man. Wonder Man put us on a trajectory. Let's see what comes next. We got Daredevil Born Again season 2 coming out next month. Hopefully that keeps it going, and it should, because there's all of that interference that happened with season 1 isn't there anymore. So we have a fresh slate of creators working on good stuff, and oh, it's gonna be so awesome. And then after that, Spider-Man Brand New Day. Hopefully Destin serves us right with that. Then leading on to, I think WandaVision is coming after that. Or no, not WandaVision, Vision Quest, the almost kind of spin-off show of WandaVision with Vision. And coming from showrunner Terry Matalas, which he's very talented and has done a lot of great things. So hopefully that's great. And that keeps us going into Doomsday coming out at the end of the year. It's hopefully going to be a fun time for Marvel, because we need Marvel to be back. We need that box office goodness and all those fun times. So, all right, guys, with that down, let us know what your thoughts on Spider-Man. When do you think we're going to get that trailer? Could be tomorrow, could be next week, could be very soon. We shall see. All right, with that down, we're moving on to our next topic. And I usually tend not to want to talk about AI depending on the topic, but this one's pretty wild. David, did you get to see the video?
Man, I did, and it every time there's a new um AI video generation, it's always is fooling me for the first 2 seconds now of the video. I'm fooled. I couldn't tell.
It's scary.
It's crazy.
It is very scary. Yeah. So yeah, TikTok's owner is behind the model C-Dance. So C-Dance 2.0 is, I guess, the model that is able to craft something like this, which is being greeted akin to OpenAI's Sora 2 in the industry, with major studios as well as SAG-AFTRA signaling alarm over its infringement potential. So, yeah, pretty much the article goes on to talk about the story, and I guess it made some other alternate clips with an alternate ending to Game of Thrones, a clip featuring Rocky Balboa and Optimus Prime at a fast food restaurant. Okay,
I know
yeah,
there was one of Breaking Bad. There's a Breaking Bad clip
okay,
that I saw going around, and it does look so real. It is crazy
yeah,
how real it looks. And we are like less than a year into high end, like big companies investing in AI video generation. We're like less than a year in, and this is what we are making. I feel like it's only a matter of time before we get full AI generated movies. Now, here's the thing. AI, we're even in AI generated movies are it's all tools. They are tools to meet an end. They are means to an end. AI will still always, unless we get AGI, which I don't think we will always need human oversight. What is the AI doing? How is it implementing? How is it doing it? It always needs that oversight. And with that in mind, it can just be used as a tool to make processes more efficient, even in the film and TV industry. Um, Processes that are manual and take a long time, like it can do those things. But I 1 billion% also understand that you know, if I'm an actor, if I'm Brad Pitt, I don't want an AI
I don't wanna
taking
see
my
myself.
job.
Yeah.
And so, and there are, I mean, there's a huge, I don't know if it was a lawsuit, but there was a court. I don't know. I don't know the situation, but it seemed like Disney was taking OpenAI to court because of OpenAI and their image generation model. Basically, like how do we navigate this? Because the models have to be trained on content. Okay, so is it okay for the models to be trained on existing content to then create content that looks like it? Like, is that okay? And that's kind of the big question in the industry right now because we don't really know. We haven't figured it out yet.
Right.
We haven't figured it out yet if it's okay. Um and so like gosh, it looks so real.
It looks crazy, yeah. So, yeah, because we were talking about Christian Harloff, so I was watching his show, and he brought it up, and I was like he's like, "Yeah, this fight with Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise," and I'm like, "Okay, I gotta see this." And once I saw it, I'm like, "Oh, uh-oh."
Your jaw drops.
It it does, but then I realize what's going on, and,
Mhm.
like this is in itself really fascinating, really interesting, and lots of positives and negatives, what have you, with it, but there's like when you see something like this, and John Campea always says, we always reference John Campea on the show, but when you have action without narrative purpose, it's just visual noise. And with something like this, it's just "Puh, puh, puh, puh," it's
Right.
just nonstop. So it's like the content itself is, I mean, it's interesting the fact that to just to see Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise fist fight, it's interesting.
Yeah.
But when you kind of step back and like, if you want to place it into a film, you need to have the extra bits and bobs to make it cohesive, to make it work within a film. Because this is just visual noise. It's just fighting. It's very
Mhm.
interesting. Like, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, but yeah, but like the big question is to see what this can evolve to because we're so, I mean, I feel like what in the past like 4 years, like it's how quick it's ramped up. It's just
For
been
for what you mean?
just for AI learning to craft almost cinema quality things. Has it kind of
Mhm.
been that short of time?
Well, yeah, ChatGPT released in October of 2022, I believe. No, November of 2022. And they were the fastest website to like 5 million users, beating out like Instagram and even Facebook.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. And so we are less than 4 years from that moment, that pivotal moment in November of 2022. And, you know, we have Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise full on fist fighting. Um, and again, like we're only 1 year away. We're less than a year from the video generation really taking off. And so there was an article that was posted on X that got, I think, 100 million views. It was from a CEO of an AI startup who basically was talking about how it's kind of, I don't want to say fear mongering, but he had a warning basically that AI is going to, it learns exponentially faster because it can teach itself things. So, excuse me. So because it can teach itself things, it's almost like we're going to get to a point where it almost feels like overnight it's doing things that we never thought were possible even a year ago. And we're kind of there. I mean this like, I still remember over a year ago, just over a year ago, we had that video of like Will Smith eating spaghetti, and that was like AI video. And that was like a horrendous amalgamation of whatever.
I was,
And
yeah,
now
I saw that. So yeah, once I saw this article and I saw it reference that, I looked it up and I'm like, it like imploded my brain on what that even did.
Right.
It was so weird.
It was strange.
Yeah.
It was strange. It was weird. And but now we have
Now we
this.
have this.
Yeah. And so there's so many moral and ethical questions, especially in the artistic space, about copyright laws,
Mhm.
about what do we do? What do we do? Is it okay for a machine to learn on someone else's content to create their own? It's okay for humans to do that. Like I can watch movies and then make a movie like it. Now, because I'm a human, I have to like follow laws, So that's the thing. It's like
Yeah. Old
what
laws.
what laws are the machines going to have to do or the machines are just going to realize, oh, we don't need the laws, and the machines are just going to take us over, and we're going to be matrixified
Yeah. Or
and be
terminated. We're gonna be terminated.
we're going to be terminated, matrixified, Morpheus is going to be coming to us asking for pills, that for us to eat the pills on his behalf.
Yeah.
So it's
It's an interesting time because it's like,
int-
yeah. Like I don't know if it's gonna like kind of bottom out now. Like possibly. Like I'm very curious when this tech is gonna stop doing this and just kind of do this for a little bit.
mhm.
Because there's got to be a period.
So I do have something to say to that. ChatGPT in the early days did that. It absolutely did.
Mm,
So in November 2022, we had like the spike. They released kind of their paid membership. So you would have priority access to use it and the updated models. And then like by the end of 2023, beginning 2024, we just kind of got like a plateau.
mhm.
And it seemed like the models were honestly getting worse. And it absolutely was. There was data to show that. And then something happened in 2025 and everything just
Boom.
exploded, and it's continuing to explode.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
So, like you said, with the bottom out thing, will it happen with video gen? It could. It could definitely happen.
yeah. Yeah, we don't know. Yeah, because like so now that we're here with this, yeah, will it bottom out? Could it improve? And regardless, like still like, taking Hollywood, taking jobs and stuff like that. Like there's still so many more things this thing has to do
Yeah.
that. I mean, you talk about a production of a film, the countless just all the different facets of a film that make a film great. It's
Yeah.
like you got to catch lightning in a bottle to make a great film. So for
Hmm.
AI to do something like that, I feel like that's going to take forever. I mean, maybe not in our lifetime, but who knows? That's the
Hmm.
question. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you had, that Coca Cola AI ad was made with like 60,000 prompts. Like at
That's
that point,
crazy.
at that point, it's like, okay, we probably could have just paid some regular people to animate
Yeah.
this. Like 60,000?
I mean, that's
Like
gotta be hours upon hours of just, like, at the computer.
prompting.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's what I've heard. Now, I'm maybe that's not true. Maybe I'm speaking out of turn. But but yeah, it's interesting.
An interesting time.
Interesting time.
Alright, guys. Let us know your thoughts on that AI, the 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 wild AI coming. Who knows where it's going? What do you think's gonna happen to it? What do you think's gonna happen within Hollywood with it? We shall see. Curious to hear your thoughts, but, I think we'll kinda end the show with that, with 4 tight topics, our very first live show. Let us know what you guys thought, if we did a decent job. Curious. And, yeah, David, what do you think of today? How do you think we did?
First live show, honestly, I feel like it couldn't have gone better. It was
Yeah,
it was it was a lot of fun.
smooth.
Um yeah, it was a lot of fun. I think I could I think we'll do more lives coming. So if you're tuning
Indeed.
in,
Yes.
tuning in.
This was a good test to see how we perform. I think we did pretty good. And
But let us know in the comments how you think we did, if we did bad or if we did good.
yes, please. Also give us a like. We'd love to have a like. Those are always appreciated. Those are free. Likes are free. We should make shirts.
Likes are
Likes are free.
free.
Yeah. I was supposed to see Crime 101 yesterday. That was the movie review I wanted to do. So we would have had that as a topic. So
Mm.
unfortunately, but next week we'll get that going. So yeah, we wanted to do the live show because I'm heading out to Vegas tomorrow, and I'm actually going to the Wizard of Oz Sphere experience. So that's gonna be my first viewing of Wizard of Oz. Not only also viewing it in the form factor of the MSG Sphere, so the kind of almost like virtual reality in a sense kind of experience. So
Wait, the
very.
sphere is sponsored by monosodium glutamate?
Are you serious? I was like, get the fuck out of here, man.
MSG, what's
Madison Square Garden, like that.
but
MSG.
it's in Vegas. Madison Square Garden's in New York.
Yeah, it's okay. It's MSG. Maybe I'm pretty sure it's Madison Square Garden, but like,
So did they sponsor the sphere in the like
hold on, let me
that
see.
stadium?
Okay, so I am right.
Sponsor,
It is MS. Wait. Well, okay, so I look up MSG Sphere. I'm pretty sure I'm right. Uh, maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? Maybe yeah, the
well, hey,
sodium sphere.
if monosodium glutamate is going to sponsor the sphere, that's okay. You
Hey,
know, they can do it.
the sphere is making that money. Yeah. So we'll definitely talk about that next week. I'll take some photos, take some videos of the inside, and yeah, we'll go into it. So, all right, guys, we'll catch you guys next week. Adios.
See you later.